Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about Choo Man Intense, so stay tuned. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button before we get going. Choo Man Intense is a 2016 release and has top notes of lavender, mandarin orange, and melon. It has middle notes of artemisia, black pepper, and geranium, and the base notes are labdanum, patchouli, and tonka bean. To me, this has a very clean and fresh opening. I get a lot of lavender mixed in with the melon, so it has this very nice burst of a sort of softened, mellow melon accord that also is backed by a sweetness from the tonka bean. And this actually is really pleasant. It's like a nice, sweet, melony kind of fragrance. And I do also pick up a little bit of the mandarin orange there too, which adds a nice little bit of juiciness to it, and it adds a slight hint of an orangeness to my nose. This definitely does open up as a very clean, fresh fragrance that fits in well with this sort of Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel DNA, but it is different and it stands definitely on its own right. I do get that kind of fresh ambroxany type vibe that Sauvage has, but of course this doesn't have ambroxan as a note, and it also doesn't have the same accord, so it does smell quite a bit different than Sauvage while still giving you the same kind of fresh, clean kind of feeling. So instead, you have this nice lavender that's mixing with tonka bean and melon to make this very sweet, nice fruity accord that has a little hint of mandarin orange in there as well. I would describe this opening as very calm and very pleasant. This is a very, very easy to wear fragrance. It's very friendly and it's very nice. This is not something that is going to really be offensive. This is such an easy wear. This to me comes off as something that you can wear just about any. As this one works into the Drydown, I do pick up a little bit of the pepper, but this doesn't come off in any way as spicy to my nose. This certainly doesn't have the kind of pepperiness that I would find in like a Galloway or something, which is very prominently peppery, or Spice Bomb where there's a really, really big kick of pepper, or even the kind of pepperiness that I find in Sauvage EDT. So it does have a very light pepperiness that is there, but it by no means makes this spicy. It doesn't really give it a really big punch or kick. There is just sort of some undertones of pepperiness. Now that melon and sweetness sort of tonka bean accord does stay with this fragrance for a while. It tones down a little bit, but really I think that mixed with the lavender is the prominent notes to my nose, and it's the prominent fragrance that you get with this. A lot of people describe this as a patchouli heavy scent, but I personally don't pick up a lot of patchouli. Rather, to me, I get a nice, sweet, melony, sort of powdery kind of a vibe in this Drydown. It does retain some of that sweetness, and it does retain a little hint of that fruitiness as well, and it overall creates a very pleasant and clean and fresh feeling in that Drydown. Now the one thing I'll say is that this one does not perform fantastically on my skin. I do get maybe between 5 and 7 hours. I've tried this out a couple of different times, and it does vary a little bit, but it's definitely in that range. So it isn't a beast mode with respect to longevity, but it does last a little while. So it gives you a little bit of a lasting power. This one I feel is also fairly mild with respect to projection. So it does create a bit of a scent cloud for about 2 hours. It's not beast mode, it's not projecting like crazy, but it will be within your sort of immediate area. People will be able to smell you for sure. So this isn't a very loud fragrance either, but I think that suits the mood of the fragrance very well. This is a very subdued, nice, pleasant fragrance that is easy to wear, and so having something that's exceptionally loud I don't think would work with this fragrance very well. Now it is something that I think is fairly versatile. It is definitely something you can wear in the office. This is a definite mass-pleasing fragrance. It has that sort of mass-appealing profile, and it's definitely something that I think wears well in warmer weather. It's something that comes off as clean and fresh, and it's something that is definitely not very, very strong, and for that reason I don't think it would be so appropriate for colder weather, because it would really be something that you couldn't smell at all. So this is definitely also, I think, specific again to very certain situations. It's nice, office friendly, or when you're in that kind of a mood where you just want to be subdued and more nice smelling, and you don't really want to announce your presence. But all in all, as I mentioned, this is one that a lot of people really enjoy. So when people do smell this on you, they will most likely enjoy the smell of this fragrance. Another great thing about this one is it's quite inexpensive. So even though it doesn't perform the best, this isn't one that I really would mind spraying a couple times throughout the day, depending on how long I was out, because it is pretty inexpensive. You can find this online for under $35. So I really think this puts it in a category where it's very much worth checking out, because it has a somewhat unique profile for a very familiar DNA, and it doesn't have terrible performance at all. So it does have decent performance, and the price point is, of course, excellent. So overall, I think this is a nice, cheap summer or warm weather fragrance, and it's certainly worth having a look at. So if you haven't tried it out, do get your nose on this one. That's it for this one. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.